Hello dear viewers, good morning. I welcome you to this new session on personal growth and higher knowledge. Today I have decided to share with you very interesting information and knowledge on a very particular phenomenon which affects the lives of all human beings on this planet. And this phenomenon is called stress. Many writers and many scientists have written a lot on stress. It has been even described as the disease of the 21st century. You will also appreciate to know that doctors have analyzed the impacts of stress on our daily lives. And you will be surprised to learn that all diseases have a background which is related to stress, at least 80%. This is found on the internet in a report which states that 80% of the diseases which human beings face has an origin related to a high level of stress. So this is why it is important for you to understand how stress arises, what is stress itself, and what you can do to fight stress. Otherwise, you will face the risk of contracting any kind of diseases inside your body. So let's start with a basic definition of stress. Stress is a lack of adaptation to the events of your life and to the persons in your life. As simple as that. It is a lack of adaptation. So what happens is that stress begins with activators, or we call it also stressors. It's just like a spark which needs to ignite the fuel which is around you, and then it will burst out in a flame. This is the phenomenon of stress. There needs to be a spark or an activator. Now, for you to understand what activators are, I shall give you a few examples. Suppose you are coming back home and the bus gets a breakdown. It means you shall be late. Then you are stressed because you shall be late for picking up the children at tuition, or you shall be late to prepare the dinner. Another activator is an examination you have to take. You are stressed because you are worried whether you shall succeed or fail. Another activator is an interview, a surgery, a visit to the doctor, and so on. So all these activators put pressure on our system, on our mental state, on our emotional state. And that is how the stress starts. So the more you think about the problem you have on hand, the higher the level of stress. Now, it is important to note that a little stress is beneficial to the system because it gives you the momentum, the energy to carry out your tasks. If there is no stress, then you are not motivated. You don't have that positive pressure to do tasks which are challenging. But on the contrary, when the level of stress rises above certain limits, then it will prevent you from reaching your objectives. It will act as a brake on your system, and you shall not be able to rise up to the challenge that you are facing. So in itself, stress can be beneficial and stress can also be negative to your system. It depends on how you take it. And there is a beautiful saying in English which goes like this: life is only about 20% how you can make it, and it is 80% on how you take it. So what does this mean? This means that your reactions to the events in your life are very, very important. You see, the way you react will determine the level of stress you shall be facing. The quicker you react negatively, the higher shall be the level of stress. But if you take time, you absorb the phenomenon of stress and its energy, you take time to think instead of reacting very quickly, you shall face less stress in your life. And that is a common mistake which most people make. They react very quickly. Sometimes you need to react quickly, especially when your life is in danger. But I will assume that your life is not in danger every day. So take time to react. Don't overreact. Don't overthink. Don't be impulsive, because all this will lead to a higher level of stress. Now, what will happen when your stress starts to rise? When the activator has already created the spark, you will begin to feel angry. You will begin to feel worried. You will start crying. You will start shouting. So all these negative behaviors will be a result of the stress, and especially a result of your poor reaction. So try to understand that what I want you to know is that the quality of your reaction is very, very important to be able to go through life undisturbed. So the quality of your reaction will depend on the quality of the knowledge you have. It will depend on the quality of your mind. It will depend on the quality of your thinking process. You see how beautiful it is? And spiritually also it is said that you are what your mind is. You see, your mind is like a muscle. You can train it to become very powerful and work for you as your best friend. And you can unfortunately also train your mind to become a very big muscle, which will always work against you as your worst enemy. So in stress, also the mind plays a very important role. If you have been conditioned to worry all the time, you shall be very stressed in your life. But on the contrary, if you have trained your mind to remain calm, if you have trained your mind not to be impulsive, you shall be able to face life and its pressures at a very comfortable level. And this is the truth. Now you know that 80% of all diseases have as origin stress, a high level of stress. Stress causes hair fall, causes gastric problems, causes weight loss, weight gain, tumors, cancers, skin problems, and you name it. All this due to stress. But we are not taught how to deal with stress, and this is what I want to share with you. The first thing is to remain calm, whatever the situation. Because you see, any stressful event or any stressful person in your life will bring a lot of negative vibrations to you. And you always have two choices in the face of negative vibrations. The first one is that you can absorb all the negative energies of that stressful event or of that stressful person. And this is the common mistake that most of you tend to do. Immediately you absorb all the negative energies of the stressful event. What happens when you have absorbed all these negative vibrations? You will worry, you will cry, you will have a headache, you will be disturbed, and it's a phenomenon which increases. And at the end of the day, you have lost all control on your system because you have decided, and I repeat it, you have decided to absorb all the negative vibrations of the stress. The second alternative you have is to take and absorb very little of the negative vibrations which exist in the stressful events you are facing. But this needs a correct mind. This needs a trained mind. And you can train your mind to do it. Slowly and gradually, with each stressful event of your life, train your mind to become your friend. Let your mind help you to go through those difficult times. Remember, I told you learning is very important. And life and the universe will always make you face the same problems repeatedly so that you learn from them. Until you have not learned the lessons, the problems will keep coming up repeatedly. And this is the truth. So stress is also an opportunity to grow, to learn, to become experienced. And above all, the management of your stress will depend on your self-control. The self-control of the mind is very, very important. This is what is taught in the Holy Scriptures. The self-control of the mind and of all the senses. In order to do that, you shall need to remain in silence at least twice a day. Or if you are trained into meditation, you should meditate at least twice a day. You can also practice yoga postures to be able to control your mind, to remain calm. So you see, stress can be very helpful, as well it can be very hurtful. It depends on how you take it. Now, it is impossible to live a life without having stressful events. When one event finishes, something else will always come. In 1 week, in 2 months, in 1 year, there shall always be something stressful. So what you should do about it? You should be prepared, just like a soldier who goes on the battlefield. So in the battlefield of life, you have to become an experienced soldier. But who teaches you to become an experienced soldier? Nobody. Until you find a genuine guru who can teach you all these lessons. But the job has to be done by you. You shall be only guided. And if you believe in the knowledge that you are being given, the becoming of that experienced soldier depends only on you, nobody else. You should find your own peace. It shall not be given to you on a plate, like a very good meal. You should work for that. And believe me, it will take a lot of personal effort to be able to fight the daily stress of your lives. But it can happen, provided you are determined, provided you make the necessary efforts repeatedly, provided you have the right knowledge. Then you can make use of stress for your own benefits. And it can happen one day. But for that, you must start practicing today. Then you shall see that you will be able to face all the pressures of your life. So stress is a phenomenon that can help you liberate yourself from the pressures of life. Or if you choose to let stress run you down like a big truck, then you shall certainly be ruined. And this is the sad truth. Life can be very beautiful. It is a choice. You make the choice. If you want to be peaceful, you decide. If you want to be stressful all the time, you also decide. So remember well that stress depends on you, on how you take any situation which comes to you, on how you take any person who comes to you. Your reaction is very, very important. The quality of your reaction will play a very important role in determining the level of stress you shall face in your life. So as from now on, try to remember this lesson and always make sure you have the best quality reaction in all the pressures that comes to you every day, every week, and throughout your life. Then you shall master the techniques to become peaceful. Then you shall become an experienced soldier to go on the battlefield of life. So this is my wish and blessing for you, that as from today, you make your level best to have the proper reaction in every stressful event of your life.